And intro.
It's time for
I snuck it in. Look at that. That's what she said. What?
Ooh.
Oh.
Brian? Who's this man who hasn't been here in weeks? Who is he?
I don't know, but he's hot as fuck.
He is hot as
I
fuck.
can tell you that.
Look at that. Look at those.
Yeah.
Look at those windshield wiper glasses that he uses to protect semen from getting into his eyes.
Those are his porn star goggles.
We are the Murder Moose podcast. Perdcast. God damn it.
Heard.
Speaking is hard. I need to stop doing
It's in
things
the
that
game.
require speaking.
It is a game.
Yeah, and I'm Rod. And then there's Brian.
I'm
and
Brian.
then Josh.
Hey. And I was almost going to be like, hey, guys, I'm not going to be here again. But then I was like, wait, let's just sneak it in instead. Because Diana and I are off to the mountains.
That's awesome.
And I'm doing this weekend for myself because it's a hard weekend. It's my daughter's birthday, and I didn't get to see her again. So it's one of those things that I'm like, hey, I went and saw 28 years later last night for myself, by myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm like, watching it through the critics' view, I'm like, critics are going to love this. And then watching it through the actual, like, almost sold out audience that got bored as fuck halfway through that movie and just started, like, going to the washroom and, like, it's...
That vibes.
It's not going to be an audience movie, and I can already tell you that.
That vibes with everything I've read. And I have read that. I saw that critics are loving it, audiences not so much, and I just curiosity had to pull it up. Yeah, like most audiences, really not feeling this movie, man.
And you just said the worst thing. I'm never going to watch that movie now. You just said it was boring, basically, and I went, nope.
Yeah, that is definitely that is kryptonite to Rod. That is
fuck that noise, man.
It turns into something that it's trying. I don't know. Like, I still enjoyed it, but you know what? I enjoyed this movie more.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
I mean, that's saying that. I mean, this is what you would call a popcorn horror.
Yes,
this is a Friday the 13th. Turn your brain off, because if you overthink anything, especially the reveal about 3/4 of the way through, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just like you're just like,
you could see all the source material it was stealing from in this Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's trying to do a whole bunch of things, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm extra glad now because on Friday I was like, I'm gonna go see a movie, and I went and saw Life of Chuck, and it was fucking amazing. And it's the best.
I still don't even know what that is.
It's a Stephen King movie, written, directed by Mike Flanagan. I'll tell you this. It's not a movie you want anything. You don't want to know anything about it before going into it. You just want to know that, like,
Tom
fucking
Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston is in it, and that's about all you want to know. And you don't want to know anything else because
isn't Rahul Kohli in it too? Doesn't he have a role in it?
Briefly, most of his usuals are in there. Like, his wife shows up in a scene. He's a nurse, I think, for a couple scenes. There's like, he even shows up in a scene, but like Mike Flanagan himself. But yeah, it is. God,
Flanagan. I'm gonna try and get. Well, I don't know. He might be a little more expensive, but I think we were trying to get a few things because I met Henry this year, and he's in a bunch of Flanagan things,
nice.
And so fucking nice.
That's what I've heard.
Like, I was really excited to meet him and all the other people from ET, but mostly him because of all the Flanagan things he's done. I want to try and get.
Had a really cool late career, hasn't he?
Yeah, like the Horror Con this year was crazy. It was bigger than it's ever been.
Nice.
It was because we switched venues this year, and there was a bunch of people that couldn't make it last second because of like flights and shit. But then Douglas Tate jumped on very, very last second, and he was
very cool.
Jason from Freddy vs. Jason. So he was doing his photo ops with me in full costume. He did a Jason, and he's also Mike Myers in Halloween Kills or Stunts.
Yeah, he plays.
4.
If memory serves me correctly, he plays the Myers in the flashback sequence. Correct?
I'm not sure. I didn't go
because I know James Jude
it.
Courtney did
yes, I know. Yeah,
he's the majority of that. But I think Douglas Tate did the flashback sequence stuff.
But look at this. I got this picture.
Yeah, that's rad. That's awesome.
Dude, that is what I like to call like lost puppy dog Jason, like where he just has this weird like I don't know, the giant head and the whatever.
Also got this one.
That's awesome.
Wow, very cool. Very cool.
Right.
It's not my favorite Jason, is all I'll say. Like from a look wise, he's not my favorite Jason. I really like that movie in general, at least the last third of it.
But come on, I'm obsessed. I think Freddy vs. Jason is my favorite of them all, just because it is so stupid and fun.
It's one of the funnest ones to watch.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, it is. It's and that's again. It is one of those. It's one of those things that it really the oddity of Jason and is you watch that movie where like. All of a sudden they decide that Jason's afraid of water, and it's like Jason's been like walking through water like Jesus, and like he was like in a lake for how long before Carrie got him up?
You said he's been walking through water like Jesus. I love you.
It's I just laugh about that movie because I'm like all this fucking
Jesus
thing of
can't
like
swim either. He's got the holes in his hands. He can't paddle.
But the
holes
fucking
in his hands and his feet.
Also, I still will never understand fully where Freddy's like how he thought that Jason killing people in real life would equate to them thinking it was him. I never like quite understand that.
So what? It's two of my favorite characters in a movie versus one another, and that's all that fucking matters.
It is love it. And that movie, the fight sequence, especially at the end, is fucking fantastic. But yeah.
So I was part of a podcast long time ago. We All Go a Little Mad sometimes podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever partook in any of those recordings, Rod. I don't think you did.
No.
But our Riley Lorden, who created the Slash and Cast podcast network, we love Riley. He's a great guy. But it was kind of his brainchild.
Game.
And we did a reading one night where we read some of the one of the unproduced Freddy versus Jason scripts.
Yeah,
and it was a blast going through. We all got assigned certain characters throughout it, and we had a really, really good time reading through that. I can't remember who wrote the one that we wrote, but it had this really, really cool sequence that it was a sequence in hell. Where where they were fighting, and it literally took place in a ring, and Ted Bundy was the ring announcer.
Wow.
It was fucking bizarre as shit,
dude.
And I'm not saying that would have been better, but
dude, I wanted the third one where Ash was gonna come into it, and like I still don't know how that would have equated, but they laid out the clues from it in Jason Goes to Hell with the Necronomicon and all that shit, and absolutely, Jason was a deadite. Yeah, Jason's a deadite, apparently. Or the worm was a deadite, or whatever.
Or whatever. Yeah.
No,
fun stuff.
But yeah, it's funny because I was gonna say before shut off, we wandered off, but go see Life of Chuck if you get a chance. It's not a horror movie, which is insane coming from a Stephen King, Mike Flanagan combo, but it was fucking fantastic. Favorite movie. I like that more than Sinners, which is saying a lot. So
wow,
but yeah,
high praise.
That just got really hot, Mike. Mike.
Yeah. You're very spicy right now.
I didn't move
there we go.
anything.
How about that?
No,
it's a little better. It's a little warm, but
okay. There we go.
Here, I'll move my mic away. I don't know.
It's not you, Rod. He's not
It's me.
about you.
It's me. It's me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's talking about Josh. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Santa Claus. I don't, or like that was like Elvis as Santa Claus. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Elvis is good.
What are you up to, Brian? Since you're like anything exciting?
Not much super exciting. I was supposed to go see 28 Years Later on a Wednesday night, so we were gonna screen the print at the movie theater.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine invited me to see it at midnight, but unfortunately they sold like a couple of last minute tickets to like a late showing of a movie, and they couldn't get access to that theater like he thought they would, and so he had to push it back to 1:20 in the morning. Well, I'm 9,000 years old, so that's way past my bedtime. So
way too late.
I was like, it was
especially with
to
like
make it to the midnight, you know,
how like slow it kind of gets. It's like, there's some interesting things they chose to do, but it turned into more heartfelt rather than what you expect it kind of to be.
I'm still really excited to see it. I love the franchise.
But
yeah, it was just like, it was a stretch for me to make it to that midnight showing because I was like, I'm probably gonna fall asleep, but yeah, let's do this. At 1:20, I definitely was gonna fall asleep. I was not gonna make it through I would have made it through 10 minutes, no matter what was going on, to be honest with you. I think
the last midnight screening of anything I went to was Paranormal Activity, and like the original Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a midnight screening since then, and fuck, I don't ever
it's a long time.
Yeah.
And now you're officially old. So
I am.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm a couple months out from being 42.
Woof. Okay. God dang.
If I survive
my AARP paperwork,
if I survive my birthday at Burning Man,
yeah. When is that? We've been talking about this for a long time.
It's a couple months out.
Still a couple of months. It's still a couple of months.
Yeah, it's like in August.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, dude, I've been ADHD.
You've been talking about going to this for 9 years. Okay,
I know.
You've been talking about going.
I thought it would have already happened by now, like the way you're talking about it.
It did happen, and you just forgot to tell us about it. You've been talking about it so long.
I'll be gone for like 2 weeks for that, so like you'll know when I'm gone.
Wow. Good. Although, yeah, no Rod streams, no Rod on the pod, no Rod on the pod.
I'll just be disappeared off the face of the earth for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So.
A couple episodes of the Rodless Pod.
Yeah, okay. The Rodless Pod. So, okay, you fuckers want to dive into clown? We didn't ask
what Josh has been up to.
Well, he was talking about going in the mountains and this horror con and all that stuff.
That's not what he's been up to. Where's he been the past 2 weeks? Was he in jail? Like, I mean, I know
we were talking about the horror con like at the beginning of the podcast, Brian. Like the first thing.
You're right. I zoned out. I'm sorry.
Here's the grandpa from Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. No
wow,
shit, man.
I mean, it's all a mask, right?
Right?
I like your shirt.
It's like
cool.
Poltergeist was Jason.
Poltergeist and Jason. Yeah.
Some Franken stripper? Frankenhooker? Is that
Frankenhooker?
Frankenhooker.
Nice.
Who was your favorite person you met there, Josh?
I didn't get a picture with him, but Steven, the kid from Omen, he was there. And he came up to get like photo ops, but then the person that prepaid just didn't show. And I was like announcing, like, come and get your, photo op. You've already fucking paid, like, whatever. And he's just like, whatever. And I was like hooked up to like the bar area. So he just went and grabbed a beer. And I was like, well, this is just an opportunity that I'm not going to like pass up. So I went and grabbed a non-alcoholic beer and just chatted hardcore with him for a half an hour, had a beer with him, and it was like, of all the like Lombardo from Slayer, come on, like that's the drummer from Slayer. That was fucking dope.
Yeah,
but
very cool, man.
But my favorite was Steven, just because I got to hang out and have a beer with him for half an hour and just chat.
Those are always like the best ones when you get like those moments.
Actually, the conversation I had with the guy from In a Violent Nature, like we were geeking hard about like indie movies, what he's doing next, where the franchise is going. There's potential for like 3 more movies already like in the book type thing. And like he was telling me like behind the scenes shit of how and what happened during. I was like, this is I fucking live for this shit, man. Like,
did you yell at him not to? Did you tell him like never do a 10-minute like ending with a random character again?
Whatever. I'm not diving shit like that, man. But like,
okay, Josh, I have another question. Was the guy from The Omen dressed up in a schoolboy costume? Because like I would assume that
he was.
Why not?
He was so fucking rad, though, man. Like seriously, I didn't know what to expect. And like last year, he was supposed to come, and then there was like a mix-up with his flight, so he couldn't make it. And this year he came, and like he was just like so fucking chill, and just it was just like we've known each other somehow. And
I love that. That's
you
really know what that is. That's just the bond of passions. You know that creates that kind of shit. You know, like because you guys are both passionate about these same things. I love that, dude. I'm glad you got to have that moment. That's really fucking cool.
There was a few of them actually, and then like just like Henry from fucking ET going up to he's like, oh hey Josh, how's it going? I'm like, hey, how's it going?
That's
man?
Fucking amazing that he remembered your name.
Yeah,
I love that, dude.
He's like this motherfucker right here.
I love fucking horror conventions, man. God, it's so fucking fun. I haven't been to one in a little bit.
But this is how I like
next weekend.
There's a weird thing because like I don't know a single celebrity or person that I would meet that I would be like, oh my god, like at all. I've lost that. I don't remember the last time I ever really honestly felt that. It might be an ADHD thing, but I'd rather meet the people that I have seen their stuff and like this, where it's like a mutual respect for one another. We're almost like working together type thing. Like, and it just it sheds the like fandom away, and you meet them on a human level rather. Yeah.
I got to have that moment with Tony Todd. I'm glad I got to have that moment with Tony Todd because
dude, that last speech he gives in Bloodlines.
Oh my god, like, dude! I cried. I
tired up for sure.
I cried.
I watched that a couple days ago, and it was fantastic.
I loved it. Yeah,
I hated how all the deaths were CG. I really wish they did something fucking practical because it makes nothing hit. Like I was laughing at absolutely everything, but at the same time, after watching it, I was like, oh shit. That could totally like everyone does that after they watch it. It's like, oh my god, that could fall, and then that could do this, and I'm dead now.
Dude, that MRI machine thing.
Yeah, that was great.
Dick piercing was just like I was like,
because you have one.
No, I don't have a dick piercing, but
are you sure?
Imagine something.
Rod the Cod.
Watch the movie.
No one's putting sharp objects near my penis. I'm not kink shaming anyone. I just don't want sharp objects near my penis.
Nah,
Rod,
that's my best friend.
The Cod.
Rod, the cod. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
about this movie, kids.
And I rewatched this before you said we were doing it, and that says something, to be honest. Like I was coding the shit that I needed to work for Horror Con. Like I made a few apps so it automated the process. Like I would tether my camera in, and when I clicked the button, I made it so that triggered a thing to read the latest line of my Google Sheet, get the person's email, automatically email the photo I just took, and send it to print automatically. So as I was coding that, I was watching this at the same time.
I'm about to check out because I don't even understand what the fuck you just said.
I made it so I didn't need a person to do a whole bunch of stuff for me.
You smart motherfucker.
I made it so my camera button did everything I needed it to.
I feel inferior talking to you. You fucking brilliant motherfucker. God, I hate you.
Josh has all the hustle
he's
that
good looking. He's smart. Fuck this guy.
He hustles his ass off. Well, I've never hustled nearly half as hard as Joshua.
We know.
I know.
We're aware, Rod.
Fuck you,
It will
Brian.
pay off eventually. Fuck.
Fuck you, Brian.
I love
you,
Brian.
Rod.
You know that I do, but I.
Fuck you, Brian.
But then I had an idea too that I'm going to create this into an app and sell it now instead. I'm like, there's other people that could definitely benefit from what I just created. So to wrap it up. Like, it was going to take a lot longer to do that because it's not just a one-off with all my credentials, to have it so you could add your own credentials and link up your stuff like I did. For anyone, that will take a while, but hey, I'll figure it out.
Yes.
I got to watch Rod play Lies of P, and it was one of the funnest experiences of the past few weeks.
Of me
watching him struggle with these fucking mini bosses, and then he got wrecked by some woman with a big old fucking hammer, screaming about her head burning.
This is why I stopped playing games, though, because I would spend that much time diving into a game that, you know, would whatever give me a lot of pleasure, that I would, you know, get stuck playing it forever. And I stopped because I was starting to create my own things. And I was like, well, this is doing the same thing, like, you know, satisfaction wise. It's it's the biggest puzzle ever. And I love puzzles and putting things together that didn't exist. And it's like, okay, how do I fix this? And that's why I like the building games. Like City Skylines 2 was the game that would like pull me in like that, because it would break and you'd have to fix it over and over and over and over again. And that's the same thing as like building an app. It breaks and then you have to fix everything.
Yeah, I don't ever. I only play when I stream, so most of the time. I was playing Balatro yesterday though, and a little bit today, because Balatro is crack cocaine. If you've never played it,
I've never even heard of it.
It's like a poker game where it's a poker roguelite. So like you get all these cards that make poker hands more like you can focus on like, oh, it's a straight or four of a kind, but like you're trying to get high scores and all that shit and multipliers and all that shit. And it's fucking crack cocaine once you start going. It's like, can't stop playing. So, yeah. Right. Okay. I'm going to read the synopsis of Clown in the Cornfield from 2025, and it reads as follows. A fading Midwestern town in which Friendo the Clown, a symbol of bygone success, reemerges as a terrifying scourge. Dun, dun, dun. This game.
I gotta find that picture of me with Friendo though. It's my profile picture on Discord.
There was a Friendo cosplayer there.
Like
no, it was
no. When I saw I went to the pre-screen of this.
Yeah, that's right. I remember
the director and the lead actress and the guy that you find out is gay or whatever. It was all there, and then they had a Friendo as well.
I was gonna say a friendo, because there is not one friendo. There are many of friendos.
Yeah, there's a few.
So I'm wondering, because this is a book series, right? And this is like the first book. If the further books into this dive into why any of this shit happened, because by the end of this movie, I was like, but they don't. I mean, kind of explain why it happened, but not really. They go, it's a tradition. And I'm like, if it was a tradition and they just murdered teenagers every year, wouldn't they, like, one, would there be any teenagers left? And two, wouldn't they be like, hey, we're getting murdered every year? But this movie was a ton of fun. That the lead actress is a very pretty lady.
She was really pretty in real life.
I was gonna say
Katie Douglas.
Yeah, that does not surprise me whatsoever, because
I was like, she's pretty. Up there like she's wearing this like shorter shirt, just showing off like her tiny little stomach. I was like, shit, you're like way too young.
Tiny. Yeah, and she looks tiny in general. Like, she doesn't look.
She was
tall.
like, she was like 5'0", maybe even shorter than that.
Wow, yeah, she is not a very tall lady. I think it's funny that the guy from Mad TV is just showing up randomly and things nowadays. Like, he's a sheriff in this. I had one other. Do either one of you guys have questions or answers on why the guy from the vampire movie and
talking about Kevin Durand?
Yeah, why he was wearing face makeup at the end of the movie instead of a clown?
Instead of a clown costume.
They're like, we paid too much to this motherfucker. You get you get paint. You don't get a mask.
Yeah. I forgot. I I recorded their whole after like talk at the screening, so I have like the interview with all of them after. Oh, fuck, I totally forgot I did that.
Katie Douglas is 5 foot even, by the way. I
was gonna say she looked tiny in this.
She's super little. You can tell she is in the movie, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with movies, right? Like they can make people. Movies make it look like Tom Cruise isn't 5'7", but Tom Cruise
there
is
he is.
5'7".
There's Friendo.
I think my like biggest thing with this was like in the end, I really had fun with it. I really would have liked to know why they were killing teenagers. Like,
they seemed just very pissed off.
I mean, I understand that being pissed off at teenagers, dude. I was sidetracked. When I went and saw fucking Life of Chuck, this old couple next to me would not shut up, and I reported them to Alamo. They didn't even talk to him, and these two would not stop talking the entire movie, and I wanted to fucking scream. I was like, I hate you, you fucking bastards. And yeah, so
apparently the reason that they are killing the kids is
I got so many pictures.
they blame the kids for the town's troubles and for not sticking to tradition.
You know, so the funny thing about that is you kind of think for most of the movie that like these teenagers burnt down the mill or the factory or whatever, and like that led to a lot of things. Like the teacher's brother killed himself because he lost his job at the factory. But then you learn at the very end of the movie that the Blob burned the factory down, and he remember he was the Blob in X-Men Origins Wolverine. He was the Blob.
Fuck, he was. I drank that memory out of my fucking head.
Yeah, he was the Blob. I was thinking that because I'm like, this dude is not fat at all, and they made him the Blob.
Yeah, I really like Kevin Durant. I think he's pretty.
He's
awesome.
Always good. He was great in Abigail. He's like whenever he shows up, he's like
good in this movie too. Like he's super fucking hateable, which is obviously what you want in a villain in a movie.
Yeah.
So he's super hateable.
He did a great job.
It
was fun. It was fun.
Job. Yeah.
And he wasn't even in it that much. It looked like
the dad. I think was my least favorite character though. Like he was needed, but I felt annoyed by him, and even more so the second time watching it because I liked every single other person in this movie. I didn't like the dad because it almost felt like he was almost overacting or something, and it was like in an annoying way where he made a movie almost feel like Nickelodeon or like to YTV or something. Like whereas everything else was good and had that like comedic horror.
It felt
like mashup.
I think I kind of agree with you. I didn't really think about it, but it almost seems like he's in a different movie than everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's the most disconnected from it for most of the movie, right? Like he's like running around going like, I'm a father of a teenager, and then like
it's like funny. It starts every conversation in his scene, it seems.
Yeah, he's like having a teenage daughter, but like I think it makes it also like it kind of changes pace when he actually gets abducted by the clowns, because they don't show the mass of all the clowns that didn't get killed, that got killed. So like I don't think there are any adults left in this town at all, like by the end of the movie, because they killed every single adult in this fucking
Well, there's
town.
not going to be many because he's a shoo-in for mayor.
Yeah. But I love what they did with the Gen Z characters. I felt like how they reacted, what they were doing with the YouTube thing. He got all of that like bang on, and it didn't feel annoying in the same way that last movie we just did where they were at camp and the guy's name was Jason. That movie made Gen Z people feel annoying as fuck, whereas this one showed them in a way that you could still relate to them, but they're still Gen Z. And I love when the like head gets cut off and they think it's just fake. Ooh, I got cornstarch all over me. Like that whole thing was so fucking good and funny. And then they realize, that was fantastic.
And that's also a good scene because it like also unveils that there isn't one friendo.
Yes.
That there are like 37 friendos, and like it is like that kind of is like the big like twist in that film is that like there isn't one, because I sort of they were trying to make like, I for a long time thought it was the big hillbilly dude Rusty or whatever his name was the killer, and then he shows up with a shotgun and starts fucking people up, and you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't him. And then it's like, then you're like, oh, right after that, like every adult in the town is killing teenagers for no fucking reason. Like it's very much like the reasoning of the dad, like with the like, oh, you let your sister drown, and so now you're a piece of shit, and I hate you, and I disown my own son, and all this shit, and you're just like, oh man, these people they're not very nice people.
No, not at all. No.
What is that?
It's a French bulldog throwing a hissy fit. Right
that
now.
is something.
I knew it was a dog of sorts. It could have very possibly been mine.
A small dog that sounds like a gremlin. That's what that is.
I met the director of Gremlins.
Joe Dante?
Joe Dante?
Yeah, he was there, and I went and saw a screening of The Howling, and he did a Q&A thing beforehand, and then obviously D from E.T. is main in The Howling as well. So, like, Joe was. I brought my original VHS of E.T. in the like white plastic thing that it came in, as well as Small Soldiers, because I wanted Joe Dante to sign my Small Soldiers, because he also directed that, and that was like my favorite movie. And then I couldn't find them. It was a fucking chaos, and I couldn't find them, and they were like in a random bag that I
did you mention or ask him about the Gremlins sequel that they keep saying they're doing, and that
he's getting old. He's not really into stuff. I don't know if he's gonna do much. He seems pretty yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say he's like what do you call him, the Halloween guy who's getting up there too. John Carpenter's like, that dude is in his 80s too, and you're just like, or I mean, you can't tell, like fucking Carpenter's just high all the time, so you're like, I don't know how old he actually is, but he's really high all the time. I was gonna say, Josh, you pointed out earlier, I think that you're one of my the only I had the question about why they were killing people, but one of my only real complaints about this film was like you mentioned it, the CG blood, which I don't think most of it was that bad, but the last scene where she runs the dude over in the clown car was one of the worst scenes of CG gore, because they literally had him explode. There was nothing left from running him over a car going 23 miles.
Yeah, that was a Volkswagen, guys.
Yeah,
like that was a Volkswagen Beetle that hadn't been started.
He's playing into the comedic value of that as well. Like
for sure.
Like meeting him when I did 15 years ago when he was here with Tucker and Dale, and everything he said now, and like all the reasons why it took him so long to even get to this and whatever. He is more so like, he loves horror, but he's more so a comedian director first and foremost. And when he's sitting in the theater, especially before it gets released and stuff, and it's these like pre-release showings like the one I saw and stuff, he's waiting and watching for the laughs. He's like, he feels like he did something wrong if he doesn't get a laugh per whatever. And like a lot of the laughs land hard in this movie, and you can tell that he really cares about that over other things. But Tucker and Dale, the mashup of comedy and horror elements in that is fucking perfect. Whereas this one,
that's a master class in the fusion of the two genres for sure.
And like, I think if anyone knows the podcast and knows Rod and I like, we hold these movies in high regard. We love the rewatchability of comedy horror, and this one has a rewatchability to it as well, because I already rewatched it and I was like, you know what, this is such an easy throw on movie that you could watch it and half watch it and still be satisfied with it. So there's something to be said about that, because a lot of other movies, like, I don't feel like I would want to watch 28 years later anytime soon.
I mean, like you said, you said the word boring, and that's the thing. Like comedy and these type of things, like how like gives it that rewatchability, where like it makes it that lighthearted nature of. I mean, Josh said it. We uphold it. Like Psycho Goreman will forever be like the best movie on this podcast ever, and like,
and
it's just like
that guy from In a Violent Nature, because I was wearing my Psycho Goreman shirt. And it was in such the right place. Like, I've worn that shirt so many times in so many different places, and no one fucking gets it. I got complimented, no shit, 20 separate times that day. Oh, dude, that fucking shirt rules. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, he's like, I know fucking Psycho Goreman, blah, blah, blah. And he starts giving me like knowledge into Psycho Goreman. And he's like, that movie is a masterpiece. I'm like, yes, it is.
Hungry boys. But you know what's funny is, Josh, it's like, I'm not okay. This isn't it's not an insult. Like I like until you started talking about that, and I was pulling up IMDb and the Tucker and Dale thing. I had forgotten. I'm not saying this wasn't funny, but I wasn't like I don't know if I would have called it a horror comedy or like.
The whole scene where they're in the cornfield and they do this, and then the clown does so it funny. Just for the laugh. Like there's no other reason for that, man. He's piling that on just for the laugh. Like, and it landed hard in the theater. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I laughed. I laughed when I watched it both times.
He's like, we did it, and that wasn't in the movie, and I added it in that moment just because it needed the laugh. And I was like, thank you. I love that.
I'm just like, I don't, maybe it was like, that's the thing about comedies in theaters, right? And like, you're talking about it, like that is such a contagious thing where like I mean, it's like laugh track watching sitcoms on TV, right? Like almost, but like real life, real in this moment kind of thing, right? And I thought it had good humor, but I think just sitting there by myself, it wasn't as,
this one is attempting to do the thing, like it's attempting to do the trick or treat thing and have some sort of cult following after the fact. I don't think it has enough legs to do that. It does have like other books that it can get sequels, but he said it himself. He's like, you guys have to rate this well, and it has to like do well for there to ever be any type of sequel to this. Yeah. I would be all in. I had a blast doing this, and he would love to do the other ones, but I don't know if it was as well received, even though like Trick or Treat didn't even get a fucking release, and now it's like this massive thing. But like Thanksgiving, I could really feel its try to do the same thing that Thanksgiving is doing, and Thanksgiving is going to get a sequel.
Well, dude,
because
I think they're already working on that.
Dude, that was like one of the most fun theater experiences I've ever had.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, just because it was like. I was in all those I talked about before. I was in an inner city fucking Cleveland theater with my sister, and it was just like all these stereotypes about certain groups of people it made the movie even more fun. And I just I had a really good time with it.
I fucking love Thanksgiving too.
This only cost $1 million to make. That being said, it only made 10 million, but at least it only cost $1 million.
I mean, that's profit, and it's also a Shudder.
Yeah. It's a Shudder movie, so I mean, I don't really think that they didn't really see it as. I don't think when they released this in theaters, I don't really think they had any envision of it of even becoming a massive hit or anything like that.
But the thing that I loved about this is there was a few sequences in the movie that felt weirdly nostalgic, but in a new way as well. It didn't feel like it was trying too hard to like copy Scream or fucking, the movies that I grew up loving and gave me a certain feeling, a vibe. This one had a vibe, and in a good way, like those old movies used to. Whereas I feel like a lot of movies nowadays, and I don't know if it's just the technology that's being used or the cameras or fucking whatever, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a switch back to, and I've seen it already behind the scenes of the new Jurassic World movie. They used film on purpose because they want the aesthetic, they want that vibe, they want that whatever. Yeah. And I hope movies try to, even like what we were saying with I Know What You Did Last Summer, how it was lit. Like things just used to look and feel a certain way, like that. They don't anymore because cameras pick up so much more light that they're never lit like a movie should be lit. And this one felt like it was lit like a movie should be. I don't know. Like those things,
dude,
really keep me going in movies.
Well, there's one of those things, man, like after Avengers Endgame, like the problem I've had with a lot of the Marvel movies is they just feel like they're shot on stages.
Yeah,
like especially that Quantum Mania, the Ant-Man movie.
The Ant-Man movie was the worst I've ever seen for that feeling. Like I was like, what are we watching? Like this isn't a movie. This is just.
I never even watched that.
Don't.
It's it's just that thing where it's that. It just when you don't feel like you're watching a movie, you just feel like people sitting on a stage. It just completely takes you out of the experience.
Yeah, I hated it.
It takes that hands-on feeling like of this movie where you can't like, which still, I mean, we talked about it again. The CG blood is it takes me out a little bit, but like I still don't know why that happened. Why would you ever pick CG like deaths over? I don't know, but and it's that thing where you just like I don't want like.
Yeah, Final Destination would have been so much better. Like I remember the second one, like almost being too much because it was like so in your face, and that was like able to do it on just computers, so they went ham on all, and the callbacks that movie had to the second one, I was like, yeah, cool, love it,
dude. You know what? You know what? And when you're talking about it, like now, I mean, it's one of those things where Brian and like, don't listen for a couple seconds if you haven't seen that movie. The fact that they fucking sold that movie as that dude getting murdered in the fucking tattoo parlor, and then they kept fucking with you. They're like, hey, look, he's gonna get run over by a car, and then he gets the most miserable, horrible death in the entire fucking movie, and you're just like, yeah, just like that. I thought that was kind of clever. I said that, like, Josh, I had a quick opinion like about it, or a quick question to you. Were you? My biggest issue with Bloodlines was the main character was my least favorite character in that entire movie, and like, and I was like, that was my biggest issue with that, in the CG, whatever. Yeah,
the CG, like I kind of felt like she was an afterthought, and it was a little forced, but I still liked her enough. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like they did a lot of good things to make the movie actually work. So it was very fun, which, like, again, like, we go back to this movie, fun, and like it's that thing where you just seeing the Rotten Tomatoes scores on that movie. I'm like, wow, like,
yeah, it was kind of crazy how, like, because I had seen, like, you know, horror people talking about it, like, and like putting it in the middle of the pack of the Final Destination movies, and like it's not for bad, but it's not like too good either. Like it's that thing where, like, I don't know, it's weird that like the critics loved it so much, because I'm like,
I think it's the send off, because they gave him that line. They said, come out and say whatever you need to say, and he said what he needed to say. That wasn't scripted. He got to say his last words, and I got goosebumps and teary, and you know, he's been an icon my whole life, and to see him go out that way is fucking special. So I think it's tied to that, because it is really fucking special. It's almost like, you know, Furious 7, there was so much so many people going to the theater just to see, and I liked how they gave him a send off, because that was his franchise, that was everything he wanted. So like I felt I was really tied to the Fast and Furious franchise up until that point, and now it's like whatever. And like super tied. I was obsessed with those movies for a while.
10 must have flopped enough, because they set up 2 sequels, and I've never heard anything again about another Fast and Furious movie again. Like
they're literally making it right now.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
But there's too many big people with big schedules, egos? So to line up all this, well, egos as well, but the schedules are fucked. Well, so they had to wait for like a shit ton of people to be done filming big movies.
And they set it up so The Rock was going to get his spinoff, the Hobbs.
Yeah, they're going to do another one of those as well after this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, okay.
I mean, by the time he gets to, he's probably gonna be 97 years old, but he'll still be more jacked than half the population. So,
but I just rewatched Hobbs and Shaw not too long ago, and
that movie's fun.
It's so fun. I'm obsessed with that girl, from Mexico in it. She's in a lot lately, and I'm like happy about that. She was in that new Apple Indiana Jones ripoff movie and National Treasure ripoff movie. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that was with John Krasinski.
Yeah, I watched that, and it's
that's a Guy Ritchie movie, isn't it? Yeah, I heard that was pretty bad.
It's exactly what, like, it's Apple going, we don't own the IP to these movies, so let's make it for ourselves. So we have that, and it felt exactly like that. It was nothing more.
You're like the third person to say this. Yeah, to me.
It felt like literally nothing else. It was, we need these types of IPs, make it. How much does it cost? Cool.
Bummer.
I mean,
I'll just watch Indiana Jones.
Well, she's hot.
I'll Google her and look at her pictures.
And they had some sort of weird thing in the movie where they're like, alcohol isn't doing well. Let's try and make people drink again. Like, a main character has a drink in their hand in almost every scene in that movie. It's really weird. It's very weird. It feels very forced.
I mean, that's advertising, especially with those fucking Apple movies, because it's like not, they do theatrical releases, but not like to the extent that whatever. And they spend a lot of, I mean, Josh made me watch the whole studio show after like hyping it up, and then he gave up himself. That show had like, I kept seeing things about like how they were doing certain shots in that show and whatnot, and these really fancy
the oneers that they did.
Yeah. I wanted, like, so I had heard a bunch before watching this movie that it was a great intro to horror. This is like a gateway horror film, and the interesting thought of that is I always think of like gateway horror is more like PG-13 horror, like things like Insidious and whatnot.
But like this isn't, even the gore isn't that gory though. Like the chop off the head, they cut away a lot, so it is almost PG-13 in that regard.
But they have a lot of blood in it, like a lot of blood compared to like a lot of those movies. And I think that, like,
I
don't know. I'm so desensitized. I'm not the right person to even like.
I know. I think we're probably, honestly, the three of us are honestly probably the worst people to ask really what gateway horror is. Because honestly, I've
talked about movies that I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. And then like I'm sitting there watching it with them and going like, oh fuck, I have no gauge anymore. I got no fucking gauge.
Yeah.
Nothing affects me anymore.
Horror movie. Exorcist. How old's the audience? 9. Exorcist. Fuck it.
I mean, the last time I
didn't find it scary at all.
The last time Josh reacted to something on this podcast was probably The Sadness.
Yeah, that movie was fucked.
The Sadness got Josh, but yeah.
But there was so many lines that I didn't realize had almost never been crossed, and that movie was like, where are the lines? Fuck lines, and just lines. Like there are no lines. We're gonna cross all lines.
We're gonna take a lady's eyeball out and then have a dude fuck her eye socket.
Yeah, this happens in that movie.
Killing babies or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of the things that I was like, oh, that's what hasn't been done. Let's just do it all.
I think it's like, I was gonna come back around to it and say I think that it was a valid statement. I just think that my point was more that like this was one of the more bloody, I've seen people call gateway horror movies. Like, I mean, this movie, obviously, like Halloween, one of the greatest horror movies of all time, is also a kind of a great, fucking gateway horror movie because there's no blood in that movie, or barely, like one scene with blood in it. But it's interesting, like seeing like it translated, going, oh yeah, that's a good gateway horror. Because like
gateway horror is like Beetlejuice 2.
There you go.
Insidious, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Insidious is not gateway. I'd say that's more after. No, like Insidious is like, especially the first one. Like that one scene is like what, even like Signs. That one scene of the thing on the TV when I was a kid. when I saw that, even just more now, like the less you see, the better. And then as soon as you start seeing the actual monster, it sucks. But just on the TV, that little thing walking past, it destroyed me. It destroyed me. I was like, I had like dreams about just like that. And there's nothing. It's just a shadow, and it's so much better.
We never did the Ritual in this podcast, right? Like the Ritual, like where it has one of the greatest monster movies ever, and it's in it for like 13 seconds. Like that, the fucking elder god thingy that's at the end of that film.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen that? Oh,
no.
We should do that next week. That movie's fucking fantastic.
I heard.
It's so good, man. It's like, it's a trippy movie, and then you just go, what the fuck is happening? And you get like, you see shit and all that, whatever. But like, man, yeah, that movie's wonderful. But like, I think, dude, it's funny because Josh, you brought up Hell of a Summer, and I think that this is another.
That's like, what it's called.
Kind of going back to those 80s slasher kind of things. And I approve because
what was the budget for that? Because like that,
it was the same kind of budget. I think it was like $1 million. I think.
But this movie, the execution was so much better, and it wasn't annoying. Where that movie was so fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's so many parts. It was just a little more. $3 million for that.
Yeah, and I see. Look at what this guy can do with less than half of the fucking budget.
It's experience, though, dude.
It felt like this felt like a $7 to $9 million movie in my eyes.
Because this movie did not feel like a $1 million movie.
No, when you said that, I was fucking so surprised, man.
I agree with you. I would have thought they would have spent at least 10 to 12 on this.
Knowing that the
competence goes a long way.
Yeah, but the Blumhouse model is 9 is the max. Like they spend 9.
Yeah, they don't spend much more than around that, depending on the IP. I mean, they spent more on the Halloween franchise when they did those.
Yeah,
but that's obviously different because they knew those were going to make money.
This next Five Nights at Freddy movie, they're going to spend. I bet you it is going to be closer to $100 million after they made it.
They will never spend $100 million on a movie.
They made way too much. Plus million.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I think they're going to.
They made $250 million on Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
The budget for the next one was not fucking $100 million.
It was like $60 million, though. They went up a way more for that fucking.
They got to stop doing that. Like they did that with It, and then Chapter 2 got way too much budget, and then they made all this stupid shit CGI, and it looked like fucking balls.
And remember, Josh,
$20 million, Rod.
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight, Brian.
Pumpkin pies tonight.
Pumpkin pies tonight.
Yes. Evil dies tonight. No,
that was the thing that they remember the hospital scene in the second Halloween Kills. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
Yeah, but you liked that movie.
I liked it. Besides that part, the hospital scene.
I actually like the entire trilogy. I'll die on that. I think it's.
I haven't. Okay, the only one I haven't watched more than once was the last one, and the last one was like Drive meets Michael Myers. Like it was such a weird movie, and I liked it too. But like it was weird. It was weird, and like,
hey, look, I found you in your sewer. Are you fucking Pennywise? Like, what is going on here?
Dude, and for all that, if you guys think those movies are bad, go watch that motherfucker direct The Exorcist, because
I watched that, and the problem with that movie is it suffers from what you hate. It's boring.
It's boring. It doesn't feel like an Exorcist movie. It's fucking terrible. The plot doesn't. That movie.
The problem with that movie is that is A, it's boring, and B, it doesn't do anything that the original
stop
did.
That sentence. You can
it
stop
didn't
that
do anything. Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
You're right. It doesn't. And the problem is they made a fucking
didn't do anything
sequel to the most one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic horror movie ever. And what did that movie do? It pushed boundaries. It gave people something they've never fucking seen in a horror film ever.
Yeah.
And it did it well. And this movie just took no risks whatsoever.
It was bad.
The Believer took no risks.
It was The Believer? Is that what you're talking about?
Performances in it.
Yeah.
You know, like Leslie Odom Jr. He was fantastic in the movie. And honestly, the girls, they were good in the movie. but it took no chances whatsoever. It was so safe and so boring.
The movie was,
and for that, it's pretty bad. Because
I will watch it. I will watch terrible horror movies all day, every day if they aren't boring. But like when you hit boring on them, fuck that noise.
Halloween Ends costs $33 million. Also, by the way,
man, it's so funny, man, because it's like you see something like this, where it's $1 million, and it's like I guess Shudder's kind of been doing what Blumhouse does, right? Like in just a smaller scale, right?
Yeah,
like they do.
I like it.
They don't put them out in the theater as long, but they also do the thing where they go out and buy horror movies from other countries, which is a fucking fantastic strategy too. And like they just get to do like cool stuff, and this is another one that's like not groundbreaking at all, but this is just fun, right? Like I mean, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is one of those films that I will forever love, just because the heart and the comedy in it and everything.
I love that type of comedy where it's like a series of unfortunate and stupidity events happen.
It's like slapstick. It's slapstick.
But it comes from nothing but heart. And he gave all those characters so much heart that you couldn't not love them. And I feel like he did the same thing with a few characters in this. Like I loved the lead. I feel like she held this movie up on her tiny little shoulders and did a really good job.
Dude, her and the gay kid. Like the gay kid was fucking fantastic. Like you care about him, and the red herring, the killer hillbilly.
Russ.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, like his bait and switch that happened.
Yeah.
Where you just think he's very one-dimensional, and he's not at all.
I'm not gonna lie, though, man.
Really
they will say this. I know he was the red herring and everything, but I didn't believe it 1 second. And the reason I didn't believe it 1 second is because he really leaned into that.
The deliverance,
overly odd and awkward when he meets her. It just came off as fucking adorable to me.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this poor socially awkward, fucking lovable, big goofy fucking guy. But yeah, I knew he was trying to be. They were trying to sell him as like the red herring and everything. But I was just like, oh, he's just so socially awkward and lovable. I love it.
Josh, you said something earlier and reminded me. Even like the blonde bitch who was supposed to be the annoying one that you hated was like likable.
She was awesome.
She was was like
awesome.
Like her and her black girl friend, the girlfriend of the dude who was the most forgettable character in the movie, the one who got like his head cut off weightlifting, most forgettable character in the entire movie.
Yeah, it was weightlifting, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he put that made me laugh. Have you ever used one of those saws, the little hand saws like that?
Yeah, I've broken a few of them.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way you would have this blade would have. You probably would have killed him with it still, but like that blade would have been like. I
feel like in that, and a lot of this other stuff, it leaves that like, oh, that's so unbelievable. But then because it happened and the way they presented it, it adds the comedic almost value to it.
I want to see because this would be funny as shit and this would honestly work perfectly in this movie. I want to see the extended scene of that where it didn't cut his head off and he had to wander around the garage looking for something else so he could finish the job. I mean, it totally killed him, but he was like, fuck, I need to get this.
Dude, I have to say, Josh, I have to say that my favorite scene was with your least favorite character, the dad. When when it comedy wise, we're going to go back to the comedy aspects of this. When he stabs that guy in the neck and he goes, "You leave that in." I'll leave that in. Yeah. He's like, "Oh no, I told you not." Oh,
you're gonna bleed out. Oh, you dumbass.
That was pretty funny.
That was deadpan, and that's why it worked.
Yeah,
it just
it was very like the dry approach to it, which was fucking pretty funny. That made me laugh harder than most of the scenes in this movie. But like generally, I thought this was like. You're right, Josh. Like a lot of the Gen Z shit that was in Hella Summer, because it was made by a couple of Gen Zers who again, we talk about comparing these two movies. That movie was made by two first-time directors who didn't know what they were doing, and they did a pretty good job for like never
movie.
Never like having done it before. But this was, you could tell the guy had done directed movies before and done all this stuff, and just like And I thought it was fun. It's not, this is the type of movie you could throw on at a Halloween party, Josh, or like whatever, right? Like, and you not have to concentrate on it, but you could still look over and have a good time with it. And it's fun. That's like all this is. It's fun, and that's all that matters, right? So.
Oh yeah. Like when I first saw it, I remember Brian saying, because I was like, oh yeah, I saw it, and I didn't go too much into it on our little discussion thing, but it sounded like Brian did not like it off the bat.
The first time I watched it, I really didn't. I didn't care that much for it. On my second viewing, I liked it a lot more, but I still stand that I do not like the end of this movie. I don't like. I honestly just do not like the ending of this movie.
Dude,
I really.
That was one of the first things I brought up. They don't explain enough.
It doesn't fit the rest of the movie at all. And that's the only thing. Like, honestly, if you cut off the last 6 minutes of this movie, I'm fine with it. I just do not like the ending of this movie at all.
I just wish they would have, like, because there's got to be some, like, for an entire town of grown-ups to start murdering the teenagers. I would like an explanation that makes sense besides, oh, fuck them.
My issue isn't necessarily with the lack of explanation, although that is it's a small issue. My issue is dude gets away completely and they don't address it at all at the end of the movie. And I understand that there's more books in the movie, but to me, it's very bold to not address the fact that that dude completely gets away.
I think
to not address it at all is to me.
I think that's probably the book aspect of it. Yeah, it's like that was gay. I
haven't read books. I should, because I will say, like I said, I love 90% of this movie. I actually really do. Like I liked it, and then it ended, and I was just like, "Fuck, what the fuck."
Dude, I feel like Kin would have loved this film, by the way. I feel like Kin would have been like, this would have been her, like, writing her.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I agree.
So, okay. Well, guys, do you have something you want to watch next week? I don't know if I've, like.
Well, if we've all seen 28 years, that could be a thing we do. I know if Kin is available, she will not have been able to.
Yeah.
But.
That, or we could do Bloodlines finally, since we talked about a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Even though we pretty much did it today.
I mean,
I'm down to talk about that.
Let's just do Bloodlines then, because it was the Tony Todd and everything. So
it's watchable for Kin.
Yeah. Brian, how's the new Awesomely Bad podcast going? You guys done any more recording?
The last episode we recorded, we talked about what the fuck did we talk about? I think I told you guys about it already.
The Chuck Norris movie?
The Chuck Norris movie, yeah.
Okay.
We had to delay this week's episode because my co-host had an emergency root canal.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So completely made sense. And like I said, I'm not super worried about that right now, because I haven't even started any of the social media stuff yet. But I'm also, Josh, I talked with Josh a little bit before we started recording about I'm going to transition over to what we use to record this.
Yeah,
I think, and I want to get that down, and because I want our episodes to look better. Because right now I'm just using Discord and OBS, and I'm using like overlays and shit like that, and and whatnot, which is fine.
That's all I do. This is all in OBS with overlays.
Yeah, but I want to use this. I think this will be a little bit better.
100%.
It'll give me a little more control.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm going to transition to recording in this.
Cool. Josh, is your card app almost done? Your business thing, is that almost done?
I jinxed it by even announcing that I was close, because then this last week it was completely fucking busted inside out, and I couldn't even see the UI for over a week. So
it reminds me, I've been doing this thing at work for a while, and I was like, I kept like looking for information on what I needed to do, and I finally went to the guy who had kind of been working on it before me, and everything I needed was in his head. None of it was written down. So I needed
my God.
And I'm just like, that took me like 3 or 4 hours to get through it with him when I'd been weeks and not myself. So
I would love this to be close, but I even look at like a lot of my competitors rollout plans, and they started with like a super stripped down version, and I want to launch with most things working, and it's creating so like, but to do it this way and just launch and it work would be so I think it's I don't know if it's a better thing, because then I would have, but I'll get it there.
Cool.
I believe in you.
As Brian mentioned, I've been playing Lies of P and dying. They patched it on Friday, so the game was significantly easier. Like, I got through a lot this weekend, but like, still hard.
I was gonna say that was easier.
Yeah,
you were losing your fucking mind. That was good content, man. Good content.
It's fun. I have a good time with it. No, dude, I spent 10 hours.
No, Rod, you don't have a good time with it. Your community has a great time with it.
Let me tell myself that I have a good time with it, Brian. Let me tell myself that. God damn it. Okay.
Guys, you need to watch. Anybody listening or watching that hasn't watched Rod's stream, please fucking go watch his streams, man. If you like listening to Rod lose his shit over bad movies or on the you're gonna fucking love watching him.
His audience is just what I used to. Well, I haven't done it in a while, but I know Rod's button. But his audience just knows that too, dude, and just gets him riled up.
What are you talking about? Yep. Okay. Next week, Final Destination: Bloodlines, and we love you guys, and we'll catch you guys later. So you have a good week. Thanks for listening, and maybe Ken will be back next week. So. Bye.
It's in the game. Ooh, in the game.